guys, this is Sidney. So right now I was feeling kind of hesitant but at the same time drawn since last night to share this message. And then as I woke up this morning, I just wanted to go out, but then for some reason the energy was drawing me in. And this message perhaps needs to be shared at this particular time. So I don't know what may be coming, but last night I got some information about in regards to Ascension timeline for Gaia and what is to take place in the future. So this information was about the future. So this information came, sometimes it comes like 24 months in prior, even more, or 12 months, like that, like a year before, 2 years before. And then they give me more information and I go back to that reference. So I have to meditate, I have to dissect, consolidate, discern, sometimes wait for more information for confirmation. So all these things are taking place. So yesterday it came to me about certain things that I have been sensing, that they also like confirmed with me once again. So perhaps those information may come to the surface for me to share at this time, as I trust the divine guidance and divine timing. So as always, tune into your own heart, take what resonates, leave what doesn't for yourself at this particular moment. If you find yourself having or forming some sort of opinion or so-called the idea of judgment at this time, where it's true or not true, and I agree and disagree, all these ideas of duality coming up to the surface, what my spirit team, source, and Gaia are saying, allow yourself to have those thoughts come up, feelings come up. Just observe and be aware. So that's how you can transmute and transform, right? So allow them to come to the surface. But if you feel like it's coming, that is called negativity, that's hidden inside your subconscious, that's being triggered. So if that is coming up, that negativity is coming up, then just be aware and then sit with it. You don't have to watch or continue to watch the video. And then ask your guardian angels or your spirit team, help me to understand where these dualities of judgments are coming from in my subconscious belief system at this time, so I can have a full awareness of clarity and I can release them. So what happens is, with awareness, when you are aware that you are judging, when you're aware that you are being negative, when you are aware that you're constantly talking about your problems because other people agree with you, right? Like, oh, here's my problem and that's my problem. We call that like negativity bonding or trauma bonding, right? People love that because we hold a lot of negativity in our subconscious at this time due to a lot of programming, generated generational inheritance through conditioning, through unconsciousness. So it's kind of a form of another validation that you're receiving as you are constantly, in a way, sharing what's negative, what's going wrong, what the problem is, what you don't like, what's wrong, what is not true, all these ideas, whether it's with yourself, with your life situation, or with someone else, or like celebrities, or just someone out on the street. There's this reinforcement that is taking place in the subconscious, where as you share, people love to validate what is wrong at this time, what the problem is, rather than hope, peace, harmony, abundance, like these ideas, right? Optimism, faith, trust, unconditional love. So when these things come up and you want to ask yourself, how was this validated in my life? Because that is the energy that we are working with right now, is what I'm feeling called to share. So a lot of these things are coming up, and we've been programmed to repeat this cycle in addiction, right? You share this problem, other people or friends or your colleagues, whenever you share these things, negativity, they're like, yeah, you know, aren't they like that? Or yeah, like me too, like I have this problem in my life too. It's like trauma bonding, right? I have that problem too. I hear you too. I see you too. A negative reinforcement, negative validation that a lot of people are addicted to, right? So they constantly are chasing after that validation on a subconscious level without them realizing. And what they're doing is they're repeating and reinforcing that negative cycle, constantly sharing something negative through your words, thoughts, and speaking it out loud into the universe. That's your words. That is your magic spell, right? Without realizing the power of your own words or your own power within the energy that you hold. So that's something I'm guided to remind you. And if you're unaware, bring that to the surface and have more consciousness, awareness at this time. And whenever you do that, just recognize it from this moment onwards and stop altogether. Okay? You want to shift, you got to change. You got to choose differently. So with awareness, once you're aware that you are judging, once you're aware that you are sharing this negativity, once you're aware that you've been doing this for subconscious validation that you weren't aware of before. Now, once you're aware, it has the potential to be removed out of your energy field. But the thing is, a lot of people like to go back. You see, because it's comforting. So that's where we say it's toxic, it's unhealthy for you, but you go for it because it gave you comfort. Comfort, not in a sense like a physical comfort, but more like the ego aspect of the comfort, meaning I know that. I know what to expect from that, right? I know, and I am very familiar. So what does that indicate? That indicates I am in control in a sense, right? That's the comfort zone that we are talking about. So I am in control of what's to happen next, how it's going to go, because I've been repeating this so much. So that it gave me a certain level of control on a subconscious level. You see how tricky that is, the ego play? So just be aware and understand now. That's how the ego is playing right now. So if you're aware of something and you keep doing that, that means now it's no longer hidden, but you brought that to the light, but you're still choosing it, means it has to do with your own actions, meaning you are still choosing it. It's now about your choice. So even though you know, you're choosing what is not serving you. You see what I mean? So if you know, you want to choose what is serving you, is what I'm feeling called to share at this moment, give you some guidance on this. as the energy that we are working with, what I got was very heavy on toxic masculinity. So we've been working both with the toxic feminine, toxic masculine, and with the Mars retrograde for the past 2 weeks, or especially week. A lot of the toxic masculine energy has been coming up for us to be aware and purge out. And that had to do, that was relating to the idea of control. So where is this idea of control is coming from? Why is it that I know that this is not healthy for me? I know that it's not serving me for the best, but why am I still choosing these people? Why am I still choosing to connect, hang out in this situation with these people, in this relationship, in this job that no longer serve me, that I know that serving me, meaning it's not making me feel happy. It's not giving me energy. It's not making me feel like I want to get up in the morning and do that. It excites me. So why are we choosing that? Why are you in such a relationship or familyship or work dynamic or situations, or it could be with your health or your physical habits? Why do you choose that? You want to go deeper into it by having this knowledge now that I just shared, right? Why am I holding on to what is known so much? And this has to do with the Neptunian energy that is helping us also at this time. And before, like the earlier part of March was working more with the feminine energy. Now it's more like the masculine energy. So at this time, both Venus and Mars are in retrograde, and that's the purpose behind it, is what I'm being called to share. What is coming up right now for anyone resonating. So you want to, and right now it's more like before solar eclipse, before it was the more of the lunar energy, which is connected to the feminine. Now we have the solar eclipse coming up in a couple of days. So we've been working with a lot of toxic masculine. So it usually starts directly from your family line, right? With your relationship and their behaviors and their belief system, the patterns your mother held and your father held. Before it was the mother and now it's the father, right? The toxic masculinity usually comes with extreme control and obsession. So what it does is, it's like there's lack of communication of the truth or what is going on, meaning it's like I have you under control. I have you in my control, you see, because you belong to me. There's that idea of possession there. So for example, I like my spirit team had me see this clip where this is like a couple in Korea, and this is like a well-known couple. One is the man is actor, and his wife also like a TV personality now. And she shared, she's like in her mid-50s now, and she's been married for very long, and they are very well known for their marriage trouble at times, extreme hardships. But like they kind of endured everything, but when their relationship is based on constant negativity and what I don't like about you, but then they also share like, I'm so grateful, but this is what I don't like about you. You know, that's kind of like a repeating cycle of that. So there's like there was a little clip that was like shown, and it was divinely guided when I was tapping into it. And she said, the moment I stopped trusting, that I couldn't rely on him, that I couldn't trust him, was soon after the marriage. She married very young, like just out of college, and then she didn't know anything, and she was from North America, and she came to Korea after she got married. And then one day her husband said, oh, just go get ready and we're just gonna go out. And she didn't know where, what's going to take place. And then just very like complacent and just trusting her husband. And then she just, just wore like everyday clothes. And then she asked, are we meeting your friends or, someone that you know? It's like, oh yeah, like I have you under control. You don't need to worry about that. That's what he said. And then she just listened to him, and then she went. And then it turns out it was an award show, like a big award show. Can you imagine, right? And she said from that moment onwards, I couldn't trust him. I couldn't rely on him. So she has become very controlling, and now the role has reversed, and she's in control of every little thing about his life. And so it's that aspect, the divine or the toxic masculinity. And so once you experience that, what's going to take place is she doesn't feel safe with him anymore. That's the basic things. And this is true for a lot of relationships, or a lot of marriage relationships between parents and child, right? When a child experiences something traumatic, they never shared that to the parent. And when they are like an adult at a certain age later in life, in their 40s, 50s, 60s, even 70s, they share it for the first time with people around them, that it was what happened and it was very traumatic, but I never told anyone. Is because in the first place, on a subconscious level, something that made them believe that it wasn't safe for them to share such things. They didn't feel safe around their parents. They didn't feel safe with their partner. They didn't feel safe in a certain place. So we are dealing with a lot of this aspect of the idea of safety right now. Very much the root chakra energy. So, for instance, the 21st century system, that is the work system, right? The corporate culture, or in any working system, we never tell the truth because we don't feel safe. We are constantly worried about, because it's all based on the punishment and reward system in the first place. The fundamental beginning or the start is that. The condition, the judgment. And also when we look at the school system, right? It has nothing to do with your wisdom or your gifts, your passion, your joy. It's about living up to the standards of the system. And if you memorize a lot of things, if you're good at memorizing, you have high IQ, then and you get an A, you get this award, and that leads to a certain college or university that makes your parents and family proud. And so the system doesn't make you feel safe for you to be yourself or to speak yourself. And that has caused a lot of trauma and a lot of harm done to people who we love. So for example, if you're in a relationship or a marriage, there's no trust, you've been married for 50 years, that sort of thing, that's kind of considered normal. And the thing is, we say, oh yeah, I trust him, but blah blah blah, but blah blah blah. So there's a lot of these feelings of inner subconscious insecurities and feelings of unsafety that we've been living under in the age of survival, that we're heavily working with to purge out with this Neptunian energy. This Neptunian, this water energy is helping us to really delve deeper into our emotions so that we can go a deeper layer into our subconscious at this time. So right now, all the planets are aligned in the energy of Pisces, which is very watery. And the purpose behind that was so that we could face our own illusions, meaning our limiting beliefs in a way, right? And sometimes what happens as a child is that you see your parents as inadequate, or they're weird, or they're not loving. But if you, for example, if you are like Pisces kid, right? You have a lot of Pisces in your chart, or Sun in Pisces, Venus in Pisces, or however it is, the Moon in Pisces. That kid could create an illusion, a false image, through the power of imagination that Piscean energy holds, using that in alignment with the survival. And when we use that, is to feel survived, meaning feel like everything is okay. Nothing is a problem. My parents are very loving. This is what they said, and that's what I did. And so it's sometimes that narration that you created in your imagination settles as you start to believe it as real, and that was the coping mechanism. Another aspect of the Piscean energy is the escapism, right? The very like delusional illusion. So that's how you coped with it. But the thing is, you weren't able to see them or see the situation for what it is, or who they are, or who they were. So you have to, for example, if that was something that you resonate, it's an example, right? You have to deal with all these stories and narratives that I was telling myself, that everything was fine, everything was good. Or even I was able to do that, and I was the one who did that. If someone is sitting in a lot of ego, that they needed that validation that they never received from other people or parents, or they felt like it lacked within them on a subconscious level, they have distorted the reality of what happened. You see, so we are now in this, with this Neptunian energy, we were working to see what it is for what they are. And so this whole month had been a lot of energy of like very emotional, fleety, at the same time lack of clarity, right, in certain areas. But we are slowly getting out of that. We are slowly getting out of that, especially with the solar eclipse, is what I'm sensing and feeling called to share. And we are moving to the Aries season, which is whole other energy. But that Neptunian energy will still be very much present in the month of April as well. So we are both working with fire and water element. That is in a way colliding, the water and the fire colliding energy, but at the same time, because it's so different elements, it's opposing, When we are able to bring it to the harmony, inner alignment, it can help each other, it can complement each other of different characteristics so much. Just like in any relationship, if two people come in, they're very different, they can complement each other, or they can collide with the different elements that they bring. You see what I mean? So it's about the inner harmony, the inner alignment. So in the collective, what could continue to take place will be a lot of chaos, a lot of these debates, a lot of this colliding energy of the fire and water, of what is true, what is not true, what is right, and like when one is not aware, they will fight each other, they will condemn and hate each other. All these things may come up to the surface even more so with a lot of the Aries energies, of that aggressive attack is what is coming up, aggressiveness in that sense, in a very negative sense. And for other groups who've been working and harmonizing and working on their inner peace, inner joy, inner alignment, continue to heal in their own ways. Could be the frequency holders, light workers, right? Basically, that you're being called to continue to choose peace over chaos, continue to choose love over hatred, continue to choose faith and trust over fear, and that it comes from the basis of the wisdom of your soul. So you have the power to discern, right? You can assert yourself. You have very strong communication. So basically you're being called to continue to step onto that and create and build momentum, that you're using that Aries energies as the initiative energy, full of leading energy. You could be self-leading yourself, you could be leading your whatever that you do in your life, right? Leading your choices in the direction that you want to head, in the life that you want to live, that makes you feel happy, that makes you feel fulfilled, content, healthy, right? So that's all it's about. So it's basically the message that I'm going to share. It's not about what happens, but it's about how you do with what happens. So this energy of the Aries, some people will use it to that extreme chaos, aggressiveness, impulsivity. Some people will use to lead themselves to a better life, to initiate something that is very constructive for them and for the world, and also be very authentic and speak their truth and owning their truth and be who they are as they are. Others will continue to blame, attack, fight. So this divisive energy will continue to take place in Aries season, is what I'm going to share. Okay, I'm just going to change my light. I was like having this like Indian pose. So that could be something that is taking place at this moment, is what I'm getting right now, and will is kind of accelerate more so in the Aries season, so that it's all purposely designed that all things can crumble down, is what I'm going to share. So on a collective level, on an individual level, it could be very different and unique for everyone. But on a collective level, you will witness more of that chaotic energy around. In politics or in business, in all areas of society, in educational system. So that is something that you can expect, is the word that is coming up for me to share. So how you can choose with this environment is to choose not to, engage in that news. It's full of negativity, what the problem is, what's wrong with society, what's going wrong, debating what's right, what's true. That is pulling your energy, sucking your life force energy, so that you can use the time to work on your dreams, living your dream life, working on yourself, moving towards a happy life, living in that abundant flow state. It's all hindering, right? But it's not that they are hindering, but it's about that's what's taking place in reality. But you always have a choice, is what I'm going to share. Are you going to choose to align with that, or are you going to choose to align with something else? In that sense, we call that opportunity for you, and you hold the key, meaning, in that sense, we say you are creating your own opportunity, meaning you are constantly choosing. And that, in a way, the idea of manifestation is so much related to like idea of waiting. Okay, I did this work, when is it coming? So it's about more about, once again, about the outcome focused and reward based, that old concept or the consciousness. But the higher consciousness, or the level of understanding, is knowing that manifesting is taking place every second. So basically, when you look at the word manifest, I believe I shared this in several of my videos in the past. Mani in Latin means hands. Fast, like in Spanish word fiesta, like party. So manifest simply means you celebrate what you create with your own hands, basically. So these hands represent duality, that we came here to experience, right? A lot of the two sets, the two eyes, two nostrils, right? Two ears, a lot of two organs. They work with this. We work with cosmic energy within ourselves. So your dominant hand represents the masculine energy. The less dominant represents your feminine energy. So when you work with your hands, meaning you have the balanced masculine, balanced feminine, it's a party time. It's like a festive time, because you live in joy. You live in such excitement, such passion, that you are excited to get up. You are so grateful for this day. You are so grateful for being alive every day, basically. And you start to cherish this moment, you see? And you start expressing this gratitude in a sincere way with people around you, with the situations. And that's how you raise your, like, not just like raising your frequency, but also that's the energy that this planet will be on. The more people are like that, you see what I mean? And these more people are exchanging these energies with each other. So that's how we transform into this like so-called 3D to 5D earth. Individuals need to shift the energy as well, right? And also the Gaia is shifting, so we are all working simultaneously and co-working together. It's helping us, supporting us, and you're also supporting Gaia, vice versa. So that's how it's working, that I'm going to share. So manifest simply means that, meaning what you say, it is immediately manifesting in your reality. So if you're saying something negative, you're constantly engaging in those kind of negative trauma bonding, or even like self-deprecating humor is one of the big thing a lot of people have. They used humor because they have that sense of humor within them, and now it's like I'm laughing about myself so that I can get by and people do not judge, or it becomes a laughter. But who's making you, so you're using you as a subject of the mockery in a way. So that's one of the thing that we one needs to work on. For example, if someone is resonating, that is coming up, right? Oh, well, there you go again. I'm blah, blah, blah. I'm blah, blah, blah. So that was one way or mechanism that you used as survival. That's one of the example. So however it is all coming up to the surface. So whatever you say you're manifesting, whatever you think you're manifesting, it is all taking place every moment, every second. And also at the same time, because that is what is taking place, if you want to choose something different, that's what you're going to create as well, whether it's to the positive direction or the negative direction. So once again, sharing that everything can happen instantly, meaning we have this idea that instant means like miracle energy. But when you look at how it is from a higher consciousness or perspective point of view, a miracle is taking place every single day, every single moment. But it's really hard for us to accept that and receive it because we are so caught up in the own programming. So we are not aware of what is taking place, what our power is, right? The miracle, meaning shifting your energy instantly, and that living in a completely different reality from one moment to the next, which is possible for everyone, and which is taking place for everyone, and which you've been creating for yourself all the time. But the thing is, I'm not aware. And when you're not aware, you can't feel it. You can't take it to heart. You see what I mean? And that we have this idea, that's another programming, the miracle, as if like in Christmas where Santa Claus comes in or the Jesus comes down from the heaven and then consent you with something. We only see that as a miracle. So that idea of miracle has also been very much contaminated to fit to a certain mold. And it has become like a limiting idea in and of itself, is what I'm guided to share. So now with this energy, we are opening up a little bit more about the truth that miracle is taking place every day, that things can shift instantly, even your health can improve as you connect with joy, as you're always saying, oh, I don't have the money to trade my blah, I don't have that, I'm in this certain place. But as soon as you choose what excites you, for example, today's my last day on earth, that I may die tomorrow, what are you gonna do? Are you going to be in like self-empathy, like pity, sympathy, pitying yourself like that? That is another form of comfort zone, or that you know what to expect out of that. You know how people are going to react towards you when you say that. That's creating that atmosphere that I know what to expect. The ego controlling, and ego preferring to be in the to be in the known. But this Neptunian energy is surrender, release the control, and then move towards the unknown. It's okay. Work on your safety. You are safe wherever you are, no matter. And that's the idea of faith, right? Divine guidance, divine trust, that you're always guided, you're always supported, and you align with that energy by choosing, I'm always in the right place at the right time. I'm grateful that whatever happens is serving me. Whether it's a lesson, whether it's a gift of some sort, everything is happening for me. And then now you come to a point that every lesson has become your gifts. So that's how you turn pain into power. Every lesson that you learn, every negative experience that you experience, people reacting, you reacting, certain things taking place because you hold a lot of limiting beliefs or negativity within your energy field, you constantly attract these things, making you feel frustrated, hateful, judging, angry, sad, doubtful, shameful, however it is. If you're saying, thank you for this gift, helping me to realize something about myself, to learn about myself, discover more about who I am, and discover this universe inside me in this journey of finding myself, remembering who you truly are, this journey, right? And then I realized that I was doing all these things in the comfort zone, somehow negatively or positively, seeking for external approvals, validations, because that's what the system has been built to train us, to condition and program. And now I'm ready to get out of it, get out of the matrix, meaning this delusion or this illusion that we've been working with in March, right? And now we're moving into the Aries season with greater vigor, greater strength from knowing who I am, that you've been purged, right? Working with, or now seeing your parents for who they are clearly, or your siblings or family members, your partners, your co-workers, however it is, your friends, for who they are and what they are. I start to speak my truth. I start to say no. Observe how they respond. Now you see it clearly. You see? They are unhappy. Now you see clearly they are not grateful. So another thing is, this millionaire or this like successful business person was sharing this idea, and it came in, you know, divine information. And he said, his wife said to him, your family is using you. Your family is using you. And just watch next time you take them out, you go to the restaurants with your family, because he was the one who was successful. He's been paying for everyone's, he's been buying a lot of things for his family members. And just go to the restaurants, and then tell them that this time it's like all the bills are on the individual. And then he was a little, you know, still skeptical, but he did that. And then at the end of the meal, everyone paid their own meal and then just got out without giving him a hug or thanks or smiling. You see? So that's how the reality works at this time. And he realized and when this happens, people will project, and they will have their own reactions, right? And the family members, he married the wrong person, right? His wife is the problem, making him change into someone else. So this kind of idea that you don't want to, because he never received that love from the parents or the family members, and now that he's successful, he's looking for that validation. He believed that he could receive that by buying him everything, buying everyone everything, now that he has a lot of money. But it wasn't sincere love. It wasn't unconditional. You see the conditional aspect with that? As long as they give some he gives them profits or benefits that they're looking for, they will smile, they will say thank you. But as soon as, let's just go old Dutch, right, with our meals, everyone was unhappy, and they will say he's changed. So that is something, as an example, that is coming up as like an illusion. It's hard for us to accept that, because they were family, they are your parents, they're your mothers and fathers and your sisters and brothers. And it takes a while to accept and process those emotions, where you will feel very sad and then angry, and there has to be a lot of negative emotions or narratives that you have to work on yourself to release and purge out further, in order to surrender to what it truly is, accept, and then let it go. So this process, I would say personally, I went through a lot of these things, with friendships, with work dynamics, with family dynamics, everything all together. It is very heavy. It's hard. It takes a while. You have to go through different cycles and phases, and you will see, even though you see, it's hard for you to admit at times. And you, once you start to say no, once you start to say, start to draw boundaries, or not just give them what they want all the time, you will start to see. But at first, it takes a little bit of time for adjustment, and for you as well, to admit the reality. Because when we come in here with a lot of these soul contracts, so-called karmic contracts, among friends, among certain workplaces, everything is contracted. Even the work that you do, or certain workplaces that you've been in, even schools and cities, it's all like by grand design. And especially relationship with your parents, it's hard for you to admit. And a lot of people live in illusions and delusions, not seeing clearly what they have been doing, what they have been saying. And you know that it's not healthy, you know that it's not toxic. So the thing is, once you continue to engage, it's like you're not in a safe environment, and you pick up on these energies, even on a subconscious level. We all have this ability. And so it's hard for you to create something new. That's why environment is very important as well, is what I'm also going to share. The friends you hang out with, the people you hang out with, the environments that you hang out with, it shapes, it molds you in a certain way on a subconscious level with constant programming. So let's say if you're constantly watching news, then it creates a certain brain chemicals, conditioning, however you resonate. If you are engaging with people, constantly trauma bonding over what their problem is, and then talking about other people, over the ideas and what excites you and what you've been doing, creating this, what you've been passionate about, sharing your joy, it's a very different energy that you're exchanging. So if someone continues to choose that environment, that it's going to be very extremely hard for them to go in and clear the water, is what is coming up. Clear the water. So that's why you need to discern, detach, distance yourself from certain situations, peoples, and then it takes a lot of your strength to make that decision to walk away. But it is a must procedure, must process is what is coming. You need to take that leap, take that step. And we are not used to doing that, because we are so afraid of being alone. You see what I mean? And it's not about the intellectual thing, it's more about the emotional thing. So it's like this, when you're intellectualizing something, we could, for example, so I share all this information and knowledge and higher consciousness, and I had this from my experience of doing a lot of one-on-ones before in the past. They love indulging in this knowledge and this knowing, all these things. Yes, yes, yes. I feel you. I hear you. Yes, yes. And then they never apply it to themselves. You see what I mean? Yes, I know that. Yes, yes, yes. But they never make a new choice or a different choice. At the end, it comes down to the practical choice that you have to make. You have to apply it to yourself. You have to set up some sort of exercise routine or try something different in your diet, and all these ideas, or you want to communicate something, your truth, even though it scares the hell out of you, right? All of these things, you have to apply what you know. Knowledge itself is nothing. So that is something also that I'm going to share. So it's like this, like these people in the story, someone asked to this guru, right? I want to know more about awareness, what self-awareness is, right? And it's about intellectual debate. It's about opinions. And that's what is taking place in a lot of the situations and in the media, in so-called influential platforms. They constantly debate over, they intellectualize what love is, what the best relationship is, blah, blah, blah. And so they're in this car, and this driver, while they're debating over awareness, the driver ran into an animal and he killed an animal accidentally. But while they're debating over or intellectualizing this discussion of what awareness is, they weren't aware of what just took place, that the driver accidentally hit this animal on the street and the animal got killed. You see what I mean? That's the society that we live in. So with this as well, we are so prone to intellectualize. We indulge in talking about it so much, right? Especially like with this video now, like in my own experience, they're like, oh yes, at first, and it's just like a quick fix. Now I'm sharing this and do this. I'm transmuting it for you, but you have to do it yourself. But they think that they feel better now, right? The thing is, you have to see yourself. You have to validate yourself. You have to do the work, but they want to skip it, meaning quick fix. They want you to do it for them. You see, they're like, yes, yes, yes. But then after the session, they never really apply, or they do it for a couple of days when they really feel like, like I just need to get out of it, escape, a quick fix, right? And then I feel relieved, I feel better now. And then they just go back to what? Their same old patterns. Eventually. At first, they're like, oh, okay, I'm gonna do this, but then... So it's a continuous journey that you have to, or the relationship that you have to start building with yourself is what I'm going to share as well. And not to indulge in all this knowledge and information. You have to apply it to make it your own, to create your own change. That temporary feeling good or feeling seen or heard or feeling loved by someone is very nice. And we are doing that because when you're in that place of safety or feeling safe and heard and seen in that environment, it's helping you to tap into your own emotions, your own inner awareness of what you are feeling, what you're sensing. Just like while you're intellectualizing everything, you don't even know, you're not even aware of what is taking place around you in that moment. You see how that takes away your attention like that? With that story that I just shared, right? So, like for example, what is coming up for me to share is like we're grading now with all this food. Oh, let's try, and this is 10 out of 10, like 8 out of 10. I would say 7 out of 10. Oh, I don't like this, 4 out of 10. You see what's going on, this trend? Something that, you know, I kind of incorporate in a video, like as like a kind of a funny video, more like what is it, like more like a humor, but that is what is taking place in reality. You want to be the authority that's reinforcing someone's ego. At the same time, you're constantly in the separating mind of comparison. That's another programming. And also, it takes away the present moment because you're always intellectualizing everything, even the food that you eat. You don't simply feel the taste, allow it to move through your body and enjoy and sit still in this present moment. You're constantly measuring, intellectualizing, analyzing, presenting to be something, right? To receive something from the crowd or the audience, that you have this, and it creates an opinion, a debate. I tasted that before, but I don't agree. Or they pick on something that's completely different than what you're doing. They're saying something like, oh, I like this, I like that. I don't like this, I don't like that. It's all projection, intellectualization, right? It's preventing us from going in and really tapping in and being aware of what is going on and observing and witnessing. That allows us to discover something new. It's like when you have a routine, you go to this A street and then B street, C street, and D street, which is the fastest way. But when you cruise around, you flow, you take this way, that way, it will take you to the same place. But at the same time, you discover a whole new world just by turning right or just by turning left to the corner that you never turned to look. You see? What you've been looking for was just right next to you, is what I'm going to share. So that's the flow state. That's Neptunian energy that we are working with to help us to go into that flow state. Meaning we are no longer operating from the ego, but from operating from heart consciousness, meaning every present moment. And it connects to such joy of discovery, of new adventure, excitement. So something that you can do if you resonate is just go out and train yourself without looking at your phone, having all this like destination. Just decide on what you truly want or desire by sitting in. But if there is any control or attachment to what is good or what is known as best, it can distract you. So work with all these distractions to align your energy And today I just feel like doing this. Go out, start walking in that direction, and then train your intuition that way. Walk left, walk right, and you can make mistakes. But as you do this, you're going to face so much of your fear, so much of your hesitance and doubt, so much of all these things, and say thank you every time I'm facing this emotion that I didn't know that I had, this inner conflict, or this fear of failure, or fear of making a mistake, wanting to be in control, or wanting to look at my phone, right? So we are changing and shifting this divine masculine, the fastest, the most efficient, controlled aspect of A, B, C, D. And that is the best, the known, the formula, the routine. Now just flow. So when you love about something, you don't really feel the joy in sharing the final product. It's more like when you really reflect on it, perhaps you can resonate that it's about the journey, it's about the process. Like I was doing this, I was doing that, and as I went this, like I discovered this, and then when I went there, like this happened, that happened. That's what we enjoy when we are, it's not about, yeah, so I got there, like so in that sense, we mean the joy is in the journey, the pleasure is in the journey, the sweetness is in the journey. Stopping a moment and connecting with the flower on the street. We are so focused on getting to the A to the B, B to the C, C to the D. It's rhyming. Maybe I should rap. But like, you see what I mean? Flowing. Allowing myself to be here. And when you take that intuitive step, it may scare you to death because it's so unknown. Especially if someone is living in so much survival and control. They may freeze to take that first step out of the door. That taking like, okay, I'll just feel like, okay, taking the right today. They can, for some people, they can't even do that. Because that's how much fear and control they live with, extreme survival. And it's not just from this lifetime, it's from many, many lifetimes. And it may not just be your karmic energy, but you've been carrying this heavy burden of the ancestral or the bloodline, and you need to be aware of it. And the purpose behind me sharing is that now all this information and higher consciousness is available to you. That's my purpose and intention, so that, oh, I didn't know that was happening. I didn't know about soul contracts. I didn't know about these karmic contracts. I didn't know how they created so much emotional attachment. And now it's your task is to cut that chain off, break that cycle. And that was part of your soul design. Your soul chose that design. So why? Because you remember your light. Right? That's why we came into this darkest place. And that's why we signed up for this most difficult school, because we wanted to learn the lesson, right? And not stay a victim constantly. You see what I mean? So for example, another thing is coming up as a comfort zone is like, oh, like someone is saying like, I'm feeling suicidal, I'm so sad and depressed. They say this all the time, and people react, oh no, oh this, and no, you're not supposed to, no, let me help you out. They're used to that reaction. So that's why they keep on acting. That's another example of comfort zone, right? I'm so sad, I'm so broke, I don't have this, I don't have that. Like my parents are blah blah blah, I was born blah blah blah. Like self-pity. And then people go, oh, like, oh, you're this, you're that, poor you. And on the subconscious level, in the collective, people love to see people who are not happy. People love to see people who are in the self-pity. Because on a subconscious level, we are constantly in competition and comparison. And it makes you feel better than them. You see what I mean? That's how tricky that is. It makes you feel better. So this is coming up. So about like 5 days ago, I was out like cruising around, receiving a lot of information, grounding myself. So just another quick guidance that I want to share. Right now, this energy is in water sign, so there's no earth sign. So as you work with your own emotions, you want to continue to ground yourself because there's a lot of lack of earth elements. And so you can go out in nature or just take a walk outside, move your body. Anything physical can help you to balance that out, or what you have integrated and purged out into your physical vessel at this time is what I'm feeling called to remind you quickly. And so, yeah, I was like cruising around, and then I got really hungry, and I'm like, oh my gosh, should I go back home to cook myself this meal? I was craving like really like vegetables and something soupy, like a noodle soup or something like that. And then it takes a while to go back home, like I had to walk, but for some reason, like I really was hungry. And so I remember that just across the street there was like a vegan restaurant place that I saw before when I was passing by. So I went there, and then I tried to open the door. Oh, okay, like this is the place, I'm gonna try this. They have soba, like which is like a buckwheat noodle there, and it was closed. So okay, I'm not meant to go to this restaurant right now. So I just walked out, and as I walked out, I saw this. My attention was on this like menu to a restaurant just right next to it that I never really noticed until that moment. And then I was drawn to look at their menu, and in the menu, there was this whole other options. And intuitively, I just, when something I'm divinely guided, I just go in there, and I just find myself going in once again. And then I order the vegan ramen. So I didn't really eat the noodle that much, but there were a lot of vegetables on top. And then I ordered like a cucumber, and I ordered like this gyoza, which is like a dumpling, pan-fried dumpling, which is kind of, what I don't normally do. But I had so much fun doing this. So once again, it was about balance once in a while. When in the time that you need it, everything is provided, and it can create a lot of joy for you. So it's like 1 out of 10, I would allow myself to have that experience. And so in that place was like this tiny, like in Japanese restaurants, it's very small usually, and they have this like the chefs are cooking, and you just have this table around, and then everyone is sitting like right next to each other. And so I was just sitting there, and then these two couple, like they're like more like middle-aged couple, came in, and they were asking like what this and the portion size. I could hear everything, and because they're literally right next to me. And they ordered something, and when the waitress was delivering their drink, she accidentally dropped the whole glass. And then immediately the woman said, oh, I didn't do it. Like literally, like, so, oh, I didn't do it. Like, that was immediately what she said. And I noticed, okay, like she has that subconscious wound inside, right? Also like defending energy and not feeling like it's her fault. Perhaps like there's whole other like, you know, energy there, right? With the parenting. And she was more like in her 50s, she looked like. It was immediate reaction. And then the waitress said, oh, no, 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 I just accidentally like dropped. And then it's like, oh, and then she came back with the new glass after cleaning up. They said, oh, so sorry, this dropped. And you know what, you know, she said, that woman who said, oh, I didn't do it, immediately defending that it's not her fault, now comes in, oh, it's okay, you know, like, oh, that's fine, it's okay, it's completely fine. You see that ego play from like so scared that it's my fault, or like so scared of being punished. It's in her programming, right? And now that someone is apologizing, she plays the ego game of being superior, acting generous towards that person that you are forgiven. You see how that dynamic plays instantly. So I noticed that, but then I'm just feeling called to share this for some reason at this particular time for anyone resonating. So that's how ego plays. And so that's the duality dynamic of superior inferior, and that we don't realize that we are doing this every day. We think that the superior is like, ooh, like real big power, or that idea of big or the small, but we do this on an everyday instant. So the purpose behind me sharing this, intention behind it, so that you can be aware and you can reflect on this story that I'm sharing, right? And use that as a tool or a guiding light to look at your own shadow aspect, or the trauma or the conditioning, right? I didn't do it. Well, I'm granting you forgiveness. It's okay. It's okay. She's like, but she like, on a surface level, the energy that I got was, she's not like a really like snobbish, or like just very like seemingly appearing very how can I say, the energy was that's coming is like nice person, right? Laid back person. She like, they had like Australian, New Zealand accent. More like laid back, nice person. Just everyday, like just harmless person. But she held that trauma and she's playing that out. She's playing that superior inferior game on a subconscious level. She perhaps may not be even aware that she said that, and just not even aware that she's saying that in this situation and what that really means. So this is not coming from me judging her or how she's reacting, but simply witnessing and sharing the story, so it can help you in one way or another, for those of you who are going to resonate. And that's usually how the tricky ego is. And so somehow that was coming up for me to share, right? So a lot of these things, and this idea of nice person, right? Another thing, being nice, seen nice. We've all been trapped inside that programming, or the idea that it's hard for you to choose what is best for you. That means you have to say no to the people that you used to give so much to certain family members, to a certain marriage, certain relationship, friendship, workship, however it is. you're afraid of being seen as not nice. You're afraid of being seen as whatever that is. You're afraid of their own projections. You're afraid of their own reactions. You're afraid of their own narratives towards you, the ideas that they may have about you. So you need to free yourself more so from these opinions of others, the validations that you've been seeking on a subconscious level, just like in a very, like that quick instant that you didn't even notice. We are playing it out constantly, right? Measuring instead of enjoying and appreciating and feeling it. So you see how that is shifting? And we dealt with a lot of the toxic feminine energy, right? Where it was very too submissive. You don't voice your opinions, or you don't share your ideas, you don't communicate. Also, and this is coming up with big energy of communication as well, the way we communicate to ourselves, the way we communicate to other people, it's all have been affected by these wounded masculine, wounded feminine energy. When you don't feel safe, it's hard for you to express when someone's not being honest, and we all can sense when someone's not being honest or sincere, or they have this intentions on one way or another. It could be conscious, it could be unconscious, it could be subconscious. We pick up on that energy and you don't feel safe, right? So we don't communicate, or you lack communication because you're so much in control that you don't need to know everything. I know, I have you under control. I have everything under control. Just follow me. You know, the divine, the toxic masculine energy, or the wounded masculine. So we are clearing all that up with this Venus, Mars in retrograde. Also looking into different aspects, all kinds of relationship, the relationship that you have with money, the relationship that you have with family, the relationship that you have with certain partners, your relationship that you have with work, the relationship that you have with yourself. You see, all coming together. And the reason why we put so much importance on other people's opinions and validations is, one is through the programming, and also the underlying limiting beliefs that we've been receiving, the message that settled as identification of who I am is that I'm not important, I'm not enough. So my need to nurture myself and do what is best for me is not important. Catering to other people for validations is more important. You see how that dynamic works? So that self-love is also choosing yourself, prioritizing yourself that way, in that sense. You see what I mean? And with that love comes a strength for you to say no, or you to say yes to certain things. So we've been working together, integrating this energy, and March has been a very pivotal moment in terms of the Ascension timeline, that with this energy of new year, but is what I'm guided to share is this energy this year is not just about new beginning for this new chapter, new year kind of energy, but like new era. This energy was bringing in this new era energy with all this cosmic alignment or cosmic lineup, or this rainbow portal energy supporting all these planets lining up in Pisces beautifully, the Neptunian energy helping us with this portal. And also what I receiving is, it also helped you tap into your soul memories and energies of the Atlantean times, Lemurian times, both coming together, Lemuria and Atlantis, representing both the masculine and the feminine aspects within the collective, within collective history of Gaia. We say history, but history has been another narrative that has been becoming a manipulative tool. But what I'm saying, in a history, in a linear timeline, not what happened, but the higher consciousness of it is all happening simultaneously. It's a multiverse, multidimensional world. It's not a linear world. And we are moving from that linear world of duality into oneness, wholeness, so you can move in the unknown as one, without fear, without doubt. We just go. You see that flow state that we're moving towards? The integration, and with this energy at this moment, ground your energy, go out in nature. And the reason why we're tapping into Lemuria and Atlantis is so many souls at this time are from that lifetime, and they are given a second chance to recreate and choose more a constructive pathway for their soul, because they perhaps chose something that was not in alignment for the highest good of all back in the time, especially the Atlantean timeline. And I mentioned this, a lot of these souls are now in New York City. So somehow I've been having this like sinus issue once again. So a lot of people may be also clearing out their throat chakra, activating further. So that is what I'm also guided to share. So all this energy support. And about 2 days ago, I was just, in bed, that state, that brainwave state just before like falling asleep. In my third eye, just like I shared in the previous video of the winged collective of 9 and white winged collective of 9, and feeling Lyrans coming to me, like visiting in my third eye and recognizing them. This time it was Palladian, and this Palladian soul came in as like a male figure face, and usually how that come is this very bright white light, shimmering light. And then immediately I got the telepathic communication, and I asked him telepathically, why are you here? What's the, and I received a message and I forgot completely, and because I was in such like a theta brainwave state. And then the next day I tried to remember, I couldn't. The day before yesterday, like last night, I tried to remember, I couldn't. But it was on, like, even not remembering is part of the design, part of purpose. So okay, I'm not forcing it to remember. And then the day after, so last night, so Palladians came 3 days before, and then the Greys came 2 days before. So I started to see this like almond shaped face, eyes, and then I asked telepathically, who are you? And like they were Greys. And a lot of people at this point who have been intellectualizing all this information, even about star seeds and all this like galactic information, have certain conditioning that came with fear. They were conditioned to fear certain things, because the deliverer or the energy that they were resonating to connect with that information, because they hold a lot of fear. They connected with certain souls who were delivering with a lot of fear, or a lot of manipulation. So something that is coming up is like, because I didn't, in this lifetime, I had no one like spiritual or this like things to talk about, or There was no this, I was completely out of it. And then all of a sudden, since 2018, I just went full in. And so I had to realize about the toxicity within the spiritual community as well. And another thing is that idea of spiritual is also has been contaminated with meanings and conditionings and ideas and concepts. And last night, what also came once again was war on consciousness. So this is something that I shared, I believe, like late last year or something, early this year. It's going to accelerate war on consciousness. What is so they're going to play around with the idea of consciousness from now on, and our purpose is not to be. It's more like that idea of being spiritual has been so contaminated. We need to redefine it, is what I'm going to share for a new divine feminine rising, or the new leadership that is rising in the collective with a pure heart and certain sacred bloodline, or this emerald order, this amethyst order, gold order. So what is coming is to become more conscious, more aware is the key right now than idea of like, oh, I'm spiritual, I'm this, I'm practicing this, I have a shop where I sell crystals or this items that's spiritual. Do not be disguised or fooled by the labels or the titles or what they do on the surface level. You want to tap into the energy. Okay, they may be someone who's speaking about spirituality or this information, that information. You want to always discern with the energy and your own consciousness. And if you're in a certain level of consciousness and you hold certain fears or limiting beliefs, you may attract these people or groups of people or situations for a purpose, for you to realize and discern the truth for yourself, is what I'm guided to share. Because there's a lot of toxicity within the spiritual community, like yeah, a lot of different things that I noticed. But in this video, I'm not being called or guided to mention like all these things in detail, but just to mention briefly about that aspect within the community, about the consciousness. So as the consciousness arises, and people, a lot of people in the collective may have been doing like therapy, so-called, or going into themselves, and those are the souls who've been working continuously because they realize they need to work on themselves for the past, especially at least 1 year, for most 2 years, but last year has been very intense for a lot of people who's been ready to step onto the new level of consciousness, and it's their way of progressing and joining the new earth on a soul level. They're choosing to do so. And that as we do this, what also came up was a lot of animals will start to communicate with humans, and humans will communicate with animals telepathically, meaning they will understand each other, is what I'm going to share. And this information came sometime last year, third quarter of last year or something like that, fourth quarter. All of a sudden I got this animals will communicate with like humans will understand animals. And then I didn't have a lot of other confirmation, so I forgot about that, and last night it came as confirmation, and that is what is going to take place with this higher level of consciousness that we are moving into. So we are already witnessing certain levels of this taking place on purpose, so that people are going to be more aware of this, that you say certain things and then parrots reply as if they're a human being, understanding what you're saying, or you talk to your dogs or cats and they respond with a ping, and then they just act on a certain way, nodding or something like that, as if they understand. This is already taking place, but this is going to be more widespread, more like a normal communication activity, or however you resonate with these terms. From this point onwards, March 2025 is what I'm going to share, because this rainbow portal energy is just so huge. It's something that we've never seen since the age of darkness, that people don't realize or recognize the importance or the power of it, is what I'm going to share. That's helping us to create that bridge between the old and new. And so back in March 2023, when I had a lot of these activations and Gaia, connecting with Gaia, energy of Gaia, where I share this in a video, my headache, as if I was about to die every single day. I couldn't eat, I couldn't drink, I had to survive, so I was eating, but it was nonstop, all this sharp pain in my brain. That was how I was connecting with the energy of Gaia and Source together, especially Gaia. And I share this story where I was walking by the ocean constantly, and then I was calling all these like hundreds of crows in front of me and talking in light language, ordering them to spread peace or love, or like whatever, like these things literally took place as if in a fantasy movie or something. And that was the time, and a lot of this information came that was for the future, far down the line. And one of it was building the ark. So they told me to build the ark, and in my sleep time I had the TV turned on and I never changed the channel. And when I woke up in the middle of the night, it was the story about the story of Jesus and Moses and how he was building the ark and all this stuff. And then they gave me like more information about that real idea behind that Moses, the ark and everything. And so that's connected to the rainbow bridge that is taking place right now. So since last year, I've been sharing that the souls are going to face this choice to ascend or to stay where they are. And everyone is given an opportunity is this point onwards, this March 2025. A lot of 3-3, another 3-3-3 portals, 3-3 energies of the Christ consciousness, and opening up the heart further. And this time, it's not just the heart. Back in 2023, it was a lot of the heart energy starting to activate, just starting when I go back to the energy right now. But right now, it's a 144 together with a lot of the crown petals opening up fully. So the higher and the heart is connecting, and this energy is so much more higher light codes, just incredibly like different levels of light that I'm sensing as I'm sharing when I tap into it, compared to 2023 energy. And in just 2 years, we've been shifting or raising the frequency to this level is incredible, is what I'm going to share. Like, I'm feeling it right now, all this difference as I tap into it. It's but that's my unique gift. I can feel it and sense it, but like I'm guided to share. It's just so incredible, the difference just in 2 years time. Is what I'm guided to share. And imagine the next 2 years, next 3 years, and the next 10 years or so, or 12 years is what is coming up, is going to be an incredibly chaotic time. A lot of these old system needs to be crumbled continuously, and there will be a lot of new formations happening. But those new formations is not aligned with the new earth. It's just like passageway. It's just a midway. They tried to form some federation or the union or this idea within the world economy, politics, however, the system, but it's just a temporary thing, is what I'm going to share. That they need to step on to further, they need to be crumbled down eventually as well. But this is how the humanity will move, is what I'm going to share. And also what came was year 2055. That will be like more like a complete liberation from this old energy. So that is something that I'm going to share. So we're in this time where all this working with dark, light, all together, chaos, merging, integration, further separation of a lot of these energies. So what I got was the Greys, when the Greys visited, and people have this idea and been conditioned with fear tied to the Grey, and which is understandable, is what is coming, because of there were certain abductions and people sharing all this scary stories, the trauma stories of connecting with them, and also the US government's conditioning based on this, like what is it, the Area 51 is coming, like in Arizona or in that area, like the desert area. All this like kind of mythical ideas and concepts that been coming up or spreading on purpose is what I'm going to share, and created in dramas and TV shows further on. It's all part of the programming, but they're just like any race. You always want to discern with the energy that, you know, even like what is coming is there are good Palladians and not so good Palladians. And we have this idea that Palladians are very nice and kind, but they can be very manipulative behind that nice face as well, is another, like as an example that I'm going to share. I'm not trying to promote this intention, is not to promote that you need to watch out or fear or like they're bad, but like the purpose or the intention behind, that's the truth. So I'm guided to share the truth. So that is their level of consciousness in Pleiades. There's still a little bit of that playing out. But in other planets like Sirius or Arcturus, Andromeda, it's all very much for the highest good for you. So there's like a little bit of these like conceptions, deceptions. So the purpose behind me sharing is not to focus on the judgment anymore, and this is also designed to trigger someone who has been conditioned, is what I'm going to share. Like you have certain ideas about certain things, galactic information or the races, and it may trigger you. And the purpose and intention is to help you feel triggered so that you can face your own truth, is what I'm guided to share. Okay, so always discern with the energy, vibration, consciousness. So the more you can fine tune in, the more you open your third eye, meaning integrate this duality, meaning see through the illusion, the delusions, the deception, to see the truth for who they are, what they are, without creating this other ideas or opinions from conditioning. You see what I mean? So what is coming? So the Greys came and they didn't say anything. They just said, oh, I'm going to give you a transmission. And I received it, and I know when the energy is not is malicious or benevolent, when I'm connecting with them like that. And I've been connecting with them in March 2023, before as well. And it's about the hybrid race. They want me to continue to share that more hybrid children will come to the earth as a test bed, is what is coming up, what has been coming up last night. The word test bed. They will come with higher consciousness, higher remembrance, and they are to help humanity, to bring more consciousness to the surface so people can work with their own trauma or their shadow aspect or the ego to integrate. And now from March 2025, the energy is ready for them to come in, because we raise to a certain level of vibration, so they can come in easier. And the women who will carry them as their own babies can do that, is what I'm going to share. So these hybrid children, a lot of them has gray ancestry line, and the grays have ancestry lines to humans. So they consider humans as their ancestors because they used human DNA to survive, to continue their own race. So that's what is coming. That's what I'm saying about the multi-universe, the multiverse, multidimensional. Everything happens simultaneously. It is all existing now in this moment. And that's why we say the only real is this now moment. Other things is all just creation of the mind. So that's what I'm guided to share. For some reason, those children will come in more to support their ancestors, which are us, the human race, the humanity. They will remember more things. They will be like seen as like highly gifted children, and they will require different school system or learning system, however you resonate. But these institutionalization, or these current institutions or the systems for the next 10 years will continue to be in the process of restructuring first, or demolishing completely, and then continued innovation is what is coming. So continued innovation, the key word is innovation from March 2025, because we need to innovate everything. What is coming is restructuring is not enough, because it's based on the old system. It's the fundamentals, the foundation has to be crumbled down. In order for that to take place, we need the innovation. And for innovation to take place, we need new consciousness or higher consciousness. And for higher consciousness to take place, we need individuals to rise up. You see how that works? For individuals to rise up, we need the support of the cosmic energy, the Gaia and the astrological signs, supporting all these light codes, different planets, the Pluto, the Andromeda, constantly giving us this higher light code since the beginning of 2024. I shared in the video at the time, for regeneration, rejuvenation. And now what is coming is reignition is coming up from March 2025. Reignition. Okay, so that's the word that is coming up. And that's why Doraemon, my emongi, that I shared in the dance video, came through. And this emongi actually started to come through since year 2024 so heavily. And towards the end of 2023, I started to see emongi or Doraemon everywhere in Thailand when I was at the end of 2023. I didn't know what that meant. And then 2024, kept coming at a certain period of time very intensely. So that's when I watched all this animation and cartoon. As a kid, I never really watched it. I knew what it was, but I started to watch again, and it has disappeared. But I didn't know what that meant fully. And on the 21st of March, this what I found him at the shop that was calling me, and then like it's so clear now. This all this energy of the future, all this information is about the future, so that we can prepare ourselves. At the same time, we know what to do at this point in time now. We need to continue to raise our level of consciousness by shedding old baggage. Shedding old baggage is what's coming up. Deal with your emotional baggage, mental baggage, your physical baggage. All this detoxification, purification is what is coming up. So a lot of it has to do with that and the contact. Okay, so I received this information sometime early in March. The first contact will take place in Peru, is what I'm going to share. For some reason, something is going to shake up the world in Peru, is what I'm going to share. What's happening, what's going to take place in Peru. Machu Picchu is coming up very strong. I don't know how it's going to take place, the first contact, and people have no idea how it's going to be revealed. And people have also these certain ideas and concepts based on conditionings and people's opinions, imaginations at this time, based on old energy or the old level of consciousness, is what I'm going to share. And we don't know, nobody can know the details of how it's going to be revealed, but that first contact for the collective that's going to be shown, introduced to the world, is going to take place in Peru. Was something that I received as information perhaps at the end of 2024 for the first time, and I waited until the confirmation. The second confirmation came in sometime in March this year, and then now I'm going to share. So as the energy is rising, a lot of people may also experience certain memories from the past lifetime, or not like clearly, but like flashes of things. Like they may wonder what's going on. Like I have this idea or this vision or the image in my head that I was this in this time period in this country as this person. Like you don't need to go into a deep hypnosis, is what I'm going to share. And when a person's energy is ready, meaning they have shed the old layers, they have room for this higher level connection now. You don't have to be in a like spiritual like community or so-called, or doing this or that in the spiritual aspect, but you could be like an everyday person in any job. And that's what I mean by you need to continue to see through the deceptions from the layer of titles, later layers of what they're doing as job position, names and titles, what they say. It's more about the energy, right? So you could be a person who's cleaning the street every day. They could be more highly conscious than someone who's reading the cards, for instance, is what is coming for me to share. Or they say they're psychic, and it's because their energy may not be ready. It's dependent on how much work that one have been doing, and there's no hiding, is what I'm going to share for some reason, to remind people or to warn people. It could be a warning for certain people, is what I'm going to share, especially if you are in that position You need to clean up. You need to act up is what I'm going to share. So this is coming up as a very strong warning. Very strong warning. Before all your gifts will be taken away is what I'm going to share. It's very, very strong from source. Coming on very, very strong. It's like a very roaring thunder energy that I'm going to share. If you don't clean up your act, you will no longer be able to be in that position is what I'm guided to share. So this is going to be very triggering for a lot of people. For certain people, may trigger certain fears in them, but it's all part of the purpose. You need to work with that. Energy is very coming on like strong, like all of a sudden, like through my Leo energy coming through. Okay, because they're watching you. And this is coming. They're watching you. And what is coming is we can't afford to have you. We can't tolerate you playing anymore. We can't condone anymore is what I'm going to share. It's coming up very strong. Okay, so I don't know who is this for, but if you are resonating, if you're feeling triggered in one way or another, it may be for you is what I'm guided to share. Okay, like like I'm getting that energy right now. Okay, so no more playing. Okay, this is what is coming. No more playing. You have done your play enough. I have tolerated you enough is what is coming from Source and Gaia, especially Source coming on really, really extremely strong, because we can't afford you in this new era energy. Okay, so for individuals, it could be a warning, it could be a gentle nudge, it could be a gentle reminder. You need to stop indulging in these knowledge and information. Start to apply, which this full moon in Virgo is all having like that I share this emotional energy needs practicality. That's what it meant in the video that I shared at the beginning of March, or the last month, for the guidance video for Pisces season. That's what it meant. Now it's time for you to apply what you've been purging, what you've been aware of, what you've been realizing. If you don't, you're constantly choosing the lower timeline is what is coming, the old ways. So the ark, they came. If you want to walk on water to go on board to the ark, the new era, you need to cross this bridge, the rainbow bridge that is forming, that I'm seeing in my third eye vision right now as I'm sharing constantly since that rainbow portal opened, helping people to move, walk on water, to cross that from old to the new. So a lot of these souls, we are to help you, but not in a forceful way, allowing you the freedom, because we respect your sovereignty, we respect your soul path and soul choice, but we are here to guide you, right? So this transmission, as I'm sharing this rainbow bridge, is coming up for me to share these light codes. All of a sudden, Utakai atakau atakikia ia kakau atakikia kau atakia. Utukukua kakai atakau kukuakai atakai kakau ataki. Utukua kai. Futukua hi ataka u ataka kiki aka u ai aka kaka I aka kaka 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 I. So there's like a blue avians coming through with the crow energy to clear up your energy so you can die. You can fully die, fully let go, fully surrender, so that you can reborn at this time. Kukuatakai. The death is part of the game. Do not be afraid to die, because you are eternal. You are deathless, but you die in this game. Utukuwai atakai, complete surrender. Savasana is coming. The last pose when you do yoga, complete surrender, the death position. Releasing everything. And with that release, we expand. Hutukuai hi atakai atakaua. Hi atakai. Do not be afraid anymore. Create your own safety with yourself first, so that you can hear yourself, you can see yourself first, before asking or seeking or chasing after external validation. Huatakai, atakai, atakakia, atakaia, hutukuakaia. And choose your environment wisely, where you feel safe to be and express who you are, that you are being communicated in an honest, sincere, truthful manner. So you can safely expand on the energy of speaking your truth, expressing your truth, feeling your truth, and sharing your truth. That is the aligned Aries energy of authenticity that we've been working on the entire year of 2024. Utukuakai ataka, we need the authenticity in individuals to rise up further. The new leadership will have individuals who are authentic. Communication will be different. Energy exchange will be different. And with that energy, we will innovate and build a new foundation in that energy. That's crucial. That's why the warning came. If you don't clean up your act, you're no longer to be held in that position anymore. This is the last warning, is what I'm going to share. Itakai, atakau, atakaki, atakaki, akaka. Personally, I've noticed a lot of deceptions in the spiritual community among readers, like language transmitters. Utukuaka, you need to clean up your act. Utukua, you know your truth. You need to work on your trauma. Atakai, atakakai, atakai, akaka. Release, to be seen as more important. Futukuai, atakai, atakiki, ataka. Purify your energy field. Atakai, atakakiki, akau, atakai, atakaki, ataka. Utukuakai, atakaka. Archangel Michael is coming on very strong with the sword of the truth. And it's going to protect those who will speak the truth, who will express their truth, who's living their truth, or taking up the courage to be in the energy. He is protecting you. Futukuai, atakai, ataka. Call in Archangel Michael if you're working with the energy right now, and you will know who you are. You will resonate. Archangel Michael is to support you in the year 2025 very strongly, for those who are mustering up their courage and strength to rise up in their truth in the year 2025 is what I'm going to share. And he's behind me. Utukuaka, and my wing is wide open. My wing has opened up. Wataka, to bring in that angelic energy, angelic realm energy, this support, this transmission through my monad, through my higher self being, that is the winged being. Tukuakai ataka u ataka itiki ataka hu atakai atakakai ataka u atakai akaka. In this pure energy of the purification, no deception can coexist. I notice, I see, I recognize it cannot coexist. I will continue to speak what I notice. Tukuakai ataka hu ataka hutukukua hi ataka hitaka hutukukua hia hu atakaia huakai ataka kuaia kakahia ya futukuakai hauatakaiaka hukukuakai ataka uataka kikia utukua kikia uatakai hutukuaiaka hutukua futukuaia huakakai ataka uawawai So as I was doing this transmission, that my higher being came through, higher self from the monad came through. I have this big wing, white wing, that since the initiation of 2018, when I shared the story that for about a year and a half, all I did was meditate all day long, basically, and sleep and activate and remember on my own. And the first thing that I was feeling was my wings and the presence of archangels around me. And I used to be in that realm working with archangels. I was in that energy level. At the time, I had no idea, but my wings were like there was like this chain that I couldn't open my wings, and slowly I worked to open my wings and sensing and seeing that through my third eye. So for some reason that little story is what I'm going to share. And then with Archangel Michael, that wing came through for me to share this transmission of warning for some people, also for guidance and support to open up their heart and to be more authentic with themselves, healing their traumas and wounds at this time. And as I was doing like the last bit of like warning that my Leo energy coming on very strong, that roaring energy with that, all the individuals that I encounter, that Source and Gaia had me encounter and touch and exchange, that I noticed a lot of deceptions and manipulations while they were holding certain spiritual positions. It was the warning was being sent out for some reason, because Gaia and Source, they're continuously saying we can't afford and tolerate you anymore. So that's the energy that had been coming through. And so they want me to share this as well. And I share this about the sacred mother energy activating since the beginning of this year, 2025, the cosmic trinity. And I share this pyramid in 7/7 portal, 8/8 portal in July and August last year, it was a pre-shadow for rainbow portal, that I start to see all this like rainbow energy surrounding the sun, that I shared in pictures that I had to take down because of certain energy that was coming in, entities manipulating that energy portal. And so the 7/7/8/8 number could be very significant for those of you who are going to resonate with this transmission, particularly is what I'm guided to share. They want me to mention 7788 very strongly. 333 has been the basis of this energy, and that pyramid. And then they're recalling to this memory for me to share. About 2 days ago, I start to see in my sleep time, after that, the gray, I connected and telepathically communicated with grays, the benevolent grays. I start to see the pyramid once again. It was like pure white shimmering light, and it started to go around, and the top was like this mountain in the Fuji mountain, like that image. Like the top was very white, like shimmering in white, and that white part was shining even brighter. And that came, and immediately the thought of the Fuji mountain, the top, that image usually is depicted as the white snow on top. So a lot of the purification energy came in since before, when I was in Bangkok last time, before coming to Osaka. They made me constantly connect with the energy of snow, especially the northern part of Japan, like Hokkaido. Hokkaido has been coming up really strong constantly. And when I came in, I feared this dense energy, and I was clearing up the toxic feminine energy that I shared in the video in my sleep time. I was sending all these lost, wandering souls to the light and sending them back to source. And then they are calling me to share that, this time it's the divine masculine energy that I was clearing while staying in Osaka here at this energy point. And I received information at certain points at the beginning, maybe perhaps like the second week or something. I certainly received the information because I don't watch the news, it all comes to me. And that they had the biggest fire in like such a long time, and like the first time in something years, that kind of thing, in northern Japan. And when I heard that when I received that information, I knew immediately the energy has been clearing, and I understood what my mission is here at this time. And also yesterday I received the information that Korea has been experiencing sudden wildfire that had been across certain provinces. So it's not just in one area, but in different parts of the provinces around Korea, that took place on the 22nd of March this year. So I knew that energy had to be cleared, and I shared in the previous video sometime in 2024 or 2023, at the end of 23, the energy of Korea is so dense. Like there's a lot of energy that needs to be released and purified, of the commercialism, the politics, and the people's mind has been heavily contaminated. And so this was part of it. Another clearing was taking place. So all this clearing could further take place in different parts of the societies is also what I'm going to share in throughout the year 2025. A lot of fires is what I'm going to share, wildfires. And what I'm going to share is don't get caught up in all this idea of the lower dimension of it was staged, manipulated. What is it? The conspiracy theories behind all this. That's the lower energies. Do not entertain yourself with that. Just be aware of why that is taking place. Have that bigger understanding. That's why I'm sharing this. And do not fear. And we don't need to spread fear. Everything is happening in divine timing and with a purpose that sometimes we don't even understand. We can't even comprehend in the time. Is what I'm going to share. So a lot of this fire energy with the fire energy that we are living with in year 2025 is to clear up all these energy points. What is coming is volcanic eruption. I don't know if it could be very both symbolic and literal is what I'm going to share. In certain parts of the world, especially South America, continent, volcanic eruption, because heart chakra of Gaia needs to be cleared up, further activated, and this part of the energy was very important for that to take place in South America next, from in the year 2025, at least for now, is what I'm going to share. So back in 2023, the reason why I sent out the warning was there was a lot of information that came, and one of it they want me to share, that all of a sudden I was dissecting all this information as I was also tapping into the Egyptian timeline as well. And when you tap into these timelines simultaneously, there's another very much the vulnerable position of having the psychic attacks. A lot of entities could seep through that energy while you move through that time portal. And I experienced it personally, and I had to navigate it through. It confuses you. It creates a story, an image based on the old energy and relationship that you had with certain souls. But you're not meant to be there. You're to move on and just tap in and clear. So that's another thing. As people could do this more so, you may experience certain psychic attacks that it may made you think that you have to save them and you have to be there for them, while in fact it's a karmic energy. So that's what I'm also being called to share. And at the time I was dissecting in my dream time and waking hours, like that month of March leading to April was very, very intense. And then from until May, in 2023 personally. And then at the time, sometime at the beginning of April, at the end of March, I can't really remember, around that time, that year the 3-3 portal was very important for the collective. And I received a lot of this information. One of it was I was starting to tapping into one of my galactic timeline, and I was given the hint that all of a sudden, I think it was around year 2019 or something like that. That was when I was meditating all day long, basically activating my Kundalini. And I was meditating one day. That's when I saw myself as this girl in Egypt or something like that. That was right after the timeline of me being in the Mother Mary timeline, the Jesus timeline. And that's when I knew that my throat chakra has been started to be blocked very much. And when I recognized it, I started to cry. What I was doing and why it was so hard for me to speak, but I continued to record videos at the time. And also at one time, that was even when I didn't know what starseed was really and what each starseed meant. And there was a time when I started to wonder whether I'm a starseed or something like that at that point. And then all of a sudden in my meditation, I saw myself shapeshift into 3 different alien beings, extraterrestrial beings, and one looked like kind of a reptilian, or the Draco that I had an image of, and that wasn't from the image that I was seeing on media, but just something hit me. It's like, is that Draconian? And I was scared that I would be a Draconian, because I didn't want to be a Draconian starseed, that was associated with something bad and negative. But then I let that go, And then all of a sudden, I received the information in March 2023 that my soul chose to volunteer to support, to work with Gaia, to work with Source very strongly. I chose to reincarnate as a draconian starseed, even though I'm like an angelic kind of a realm being. Um, like, you know, like really far ancient, going all the way back to before, like all the galaxies and all these things were forming. Like I start to remember like having like bits of memories, right? And I was dissecting all these energies and people that I was interacting with in the spiritual community that was had a lot of deceptions and all these toxic energies, so that I was verifying every night, like in my sleep time, like slicing, like to such a fine, like energy, like slicing. I don't know how to call that, but that was what I was doing. Verifying what is true, what is not true, what is true, what is not true. And I encounter there are both human aspects, soul aspect coming both together with very different energies. So I understood on a soul level, we are all very unconditional and loving. On this play, we play out, we play dirty is what is coming out for me to share. So that came through very strong. And then, you know, that I share about two specific souls that I was connecting with from my Egyptian timeline, very deceptive, that I noticed, and manipulative, but I was like trying to discern and confirm. There were a lot of psychic attacks that were trying to prevent me from discerning due to my connections to them in the past lifetime, or however you resonate with that idea of past. And at the time I remember like dissecting, like one evening, it was happening all day long, receiving like extreme download. And then I was like, what the F? And then I feel like a freaking detective investigator, and immediately the draconian lifetime came through. That was what I was doing, like a spy almost, that in their lifetime. So there are certain so-called good draconians mostly bad, but there were certain good draconians, and I chose to be the draconian starseed, so-called, in Draco, and then expose what they're doing, and then receive information and deliver that to source, which was very, 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 very rare thing. And I start to remember, and all went back to that memory during my meditation, why that came up. And so everything was connecting in hindsight, and they were giving me all this information, all of my life, even before waking up, initiation, all this, everything was a clue. Every activity that I was doing was connecting the dots so I could remember as a reference. So that gift was coming through. I was able to dissect these energies so finely. It's like, what the hell? And then I just knew in that moment, I just started to cry. That was what I was doing. That's the gift. That's why I'm doing this. That's why I chose to do this difficult mission at this time too, going into that Egyptian timeline, because my soul knew that I would be able to navigate through this, but I had to activate it because I didn't remember anything, is what I'm going to share. And also at the time, what I came was, Source suddenly gave me this message, mother them. And I was like freaking out because I was like, what the fuck was coming up to me, because I was so overwhelmed with so much information, all this energy and timeline and light language coming through, blue avians and everything, just so much, tapping into all these different timelines, feeling it, living it as if it's real, just crying, remembering, like just crazy, like wild energy, like entire month every day, while in pain with my head and arms, and connecting with energy of Gaia and Neptune and Mercury and all of this. And that was in relation to this warning. And the Sacred Mother, the Divine Feminine Rising, the new leadership is what I'm called to share. So I was sending out these energetic warnings. So that was what I was doing this last bit of the transmission, when I was like, because I already tapped into all of these energies. I've been dissecting what they were doing, and they had me wake up in the middle of the night, certain things that they were doing that perhaps they have no idea. So I had all this information, also through other through social media, certain star seeds that are in certain positions in the spiritual community, in a certain position, if they needed certain support, further releasing their fear or further releasing something, I was sending this transmission to support them. I know who they are on a soul level, on a subconscious or even conscious level at this time, even though we never talked to each other on a physical level. I was sending out all this energies out through this transmission is what I'm going to share. And also that Andromedan starseed that I shared briefly, that person, I know who he is, he know who I am, that he needed to heal. And we were helping each other, holding each other in safe space. In this lifetime is he, but I feel more as a feminine energy. So particularly his heart holds very pure heart. And I'm sending this energy out to him as well. For some reason I'm guided to share particularly. You know who you are. You will resonate. So this energetic invitation, energetic warning, energetic transmission has been sent out through the Sacred Mother in my heart energy is what I'm going to share. That's what they meant by mother them. And I was freaking out, and because of the so much overwhelm at the time that I was activating, and I needed to integrate and further continue to shed some old energies within my field to come to this point. But for some reason they want me to do that. They want me to share this. I don't know if I'm continue to do this the next time or sometime down the line. Okay, they're saying that's my purpose, to mother them is coming up very strong. And as I'm doing this, it's making me very emotional. It's like making me cry a little bit right now because I'm feeling their energy so much. I've both connected with their soul aspect and the human aspect. The human aspect was not so pretty. Soul aspect, beautiful, loving energy. And I know both. And so I'm just tapping into that unconditional love. And this warning and this energy was sent out not from a place of judgment, but a place of unconditional love for the betterment of those souls. It is what is coming up, and because as I'm tapping into it, it's really moving my heart in tears. And it's also giving, continuing to me to share that perhaps maybe 2-3 weeks before, I was, walking around, cruising around, connecting with Gaia, grounding and receiving all this information. And then I just felt like I also needed to cry. I was connecting with the Yeshua energy, or the Jesus, very strongly throughout the entire month of March, more so heavily in the second half since the new moon. And then all of a sudden, after I clear the divine feminine energy here in the energy point of Gaia, what came all of a sudden was, no men have sins. The people are not sinful. So all this time throughout history, we've been condemning each other with the idea of sin, right? And then we've been conditioned to worship or wait for a savior greater than us, that we constantly see ourselves as the victim, powerless. And with that, energy of Yeshua came in on very strong, with energy of Athena throughout the entire month of March, to remember who you are, to tap into your soul wisdom, to know the difference between what is conditioned and what is unconditional. And no man is sinful. And so we have this idea of judgments that been inherited through history books, through history class, through history dramas, through historical musicals, however it is, to create conditions that was to hate, continue to hate certain nationalities, certain people from certain countries. Well, when you come to the country, when you live with the people, you encounter beautiful hearts, beautiful people. And we've been hating them all together because of this religion conditioning, the sinful mind that's been ingrained in our subconscious, certain ways, certain countries, people from certain countries, certain races. We've been condemning them for no reason. It's time for us to free ourselves from this enslavement. It's the last very strong message. End of slavery, end of slavery. With that, I've been connecting with the Native American energies, especially Cherokees, the last 2 weeks very heavily. They also hold a lot of sadness and sorrow. They've been killed. They've been punished, to hold that fear energy, the punishment energy within them, the sorrow energy, to hand it down. They were forbidden to speak their language, which held a lot of wisdom frequencies. And they held a lot of frustration, anger, and sorrow. This all needs to end. This all needs to end. No men are sinful. This religion saying certain relationships are sacred, certain relationships are not. The homosexuality. This all needs to end and go. What is better, what is wrong? What is to be punished? What is to be rewarded? This all needs to be gone. Released, let go completely. is what I'm going to share. That, yeah, I go to these countries and I had preconceived ideas that's in the subconscious that I'm also encountering at times, right? And then it's easy to hate all these people altogether, easy to judge all of them altogether. But with this strong 333 Yeshua, Christ consciousness energy that we are activating in the energy in the month of March, especially, and we have the last 3-3 portal on the 30th of March, where Neptune will go into Aries in 0 degrees, which represents the new beginning, the full, the zero, and new start once again. And we've been going through a lot of different portals of new beginnings and another new beginnings in the month of March that was very intense. And now we are moving towards the energy of liberation, freedom within, by recognizing the power within, by recognizing the truth within, releasing all sorts of pressure that I've been sharing in past videos in the month of March. And it is not to be taken lightly. We hold certain insecurities, we hold certain doubts, we hold certain fears, and we are to speak about them. We are to communicate about them so we can release them. We can help each other heal without judgment, which creates a safe place, which we are healing at this time before solar eclipse. Further healing the toxic masculinity, the wounded masculine energy right now. That you need to step up to be the protector, not be the controller. Protector of the safety, protector of peace. For your loved ones to express who they are fully, to loved ones to communicate their needs and wants truthfully, honestly, because you are honest. That is the energy that we are moving into. And this is very crucial at this moment. That's why, and this is all in relation to also the Gaia's Ascension timeline for contact, the first contact, the collective contact, which will also shift the vibration, meaning the consciousness level in everyone, in the collective. That's why the contact also is very important, because it has a play in higher consciousness. And also on an individual level, people who are ready, they will start to encounter however form it is. It may be very different from the idea that one holds at this time, okay? And that's why I was guided to share all my personal stories that I have not shared thus far, like with Draco, or this mother them energy, like all these stories would be a reference to some. That's why my purpose is to have all that experience myself, so that I can share, so that people can relate and reference when it happens to them. My soul chose to experience it all together early on. Okay, so that's what I'm going to share. And this energy at this time may pull you in very different directions, meaning temptations with certain attachments. But do not continue to clear your attachments, is what I'm going to share. And with that, Archangel Michael has been coming on very strong, and his energy will come on very strong throughout the entire year of 2025, is what I'm going to share. And after this video, I'm guided to do some sort of guided meditation. If transmission comes, I'm going to allow that. With Archangel Michael, he wants me to share that at this particular time. So I'm going to record it and share that on my Patreon. So in my Patreon, they want me to share this too, that if you resonate, if you reciprocate, if you are for equal energy exchange in balance, you will be drawn to connect further there, contribute, and receive as well, as a result of your contribution in equal reciprocation. And also, what do you want me to share? I'm just asking Source and God because they want to mention something about Patreon. Okay, they want me to mention that if you are hesitating to connect there further, your soul will know what to do, is what I'm going to share, to connect further there, because there is a lot of energy support there for you. Right now, transmission, guidance, guided meditations, and then the health recipe videos, that's all designed. And that those videos are co-creations with Sidney, Source, and Gaia, is what I'm going to share. And share this, mention this at this time, that it is to support you. So do not hesitate to support. Sidney is what is coming up for me to share. Okay, so that's from Source and Gaia. So I personally, I do not really advertise, I do not really promote, I just share what's there for those of you who are going to resonate and receive. But they want me to say, you can also support me as well if you feel called to and resonate, and I will gladly receive your support. And I'm in need of your support as well, is what I'm going to share. Because there's a lot of precious energy that I'm sharing there. And that's what I'm feeling guided. They're calling me to share this. So I know that already people who are there connecting with me, I know that they're genuine, sincere. I feel their love and appreciation already there. So the energy is shifting. And the reason why they want me to share this is because a lot of souls are in need of support and guidance at this time. And also, I need the support from you as well in this lifetime, is what I'm going to share. So if you feel called to connect, if you're like, okay, I want to, then I truly appreciate you. I gladly, gratefully, gracefully receive your support as well. So I thank you for those souls. And with that, that's all I have And I'll see you in the next video, guys. Bye.